Let me tell you, there are some days when you just know the universe is about to test your patience. Like the morning I got banned from my own shoreline by people wearing matching blue polos and the kind of authority that only comes from neighborhood power trips. I was halfway down my path to the lake, kayak under one arm, iced coffee sweating in the other, thinking this was just another perfect summer morning, you know? The kind that makes you forget every email, every bill, every reason you ever thought of moving away from here. Dragonflies hanging in the air like they got nowhere else to be, water still enough to reflect the sky, and all I wanted was to get out, paddle, and not think about HOA drama. Not today. But you know what they say, if you want peace and quiet, don't buy lakefront. I'd walked that trail 1,000 times in 3 years. My trail, not just in some metaphorical way, but actually, legally, right there on my deed, in ink. The same path I'd watch my neighbor's kids used to sneak down with fishing poles, the path my old dog used to barrel down, tongue flapping, chasing geese off the sand. My land, at least, it was supposed to be. Only this time, I hit a wall. Well, a sign, zip-tied to the cedar post I'd planted myself back when I bought the place. And if you've ever set posts by hand, you know, that memory sticks. The sign was laminated, official, HOA crest glinting, big red letters, HOA lake access. Members only. Trespassers will be reported. Behind it, folding tables, people checking wristbands, an orange cone smack in front of my boat rack like it was quarantine. I actually laughed, thought it was some party, or maybe a misplaced bake sale, one of those HOA events where everyone tries too hard. But then Mara stepped out. Mara, queen of the bylaws, clipboard in hand, the kind of person who can quote section numbers before she even says good morning. She cut me off with, no wristband, no launch. You need to pay the new path fee, sign the waiver at the clubhouse, $30 a year, covers wear and tear, cleanup, and, she looked my kayak up and down. Only approved boats, please. That was her real hobby, disapproving of things. I stood there, kayak digging into my arm, a little stunned. You do know this is my path, right? I said, trying to keep it civil. It's my land on every survey, every map, from my porch down to the waterline. Mara just smiled like she'd swallowed a lemon and was pretending it was candy. We walked the property. The shoreline's HOA common ground, neighborhood asset now. That sign, clear as day. I try not to roll my eyes. You put that sign on my post, Mara. My deed literally says to the high water mark. Behind me, Taven, my neighbor who once built a squirrel obstacle course and, honestly, might be the sanest guy on the street, raised his coffee in a silent salute, like, here we go again. Mara flicked her pen at me. We have maps, rules, and from now on, only members in good standing get to the water. She leaned in like she was sharing a secret. Your land? HOA's land. It's all for the neighborhood, you know? I almost expected her to start singing This Land Is Your Land off-key. So, I set my kayak down, maybe harder than I meant to, and smiled my best game show smile. Okay, enforce your rules. Let's get official. I pulled out my phone, snapped wide shots, tables, sign, the post, even the survey stake with my parcel number stamped on it, brushed clear so no one could say they didn't see. Mara's smile cracked a bit. You don't scare me with your phone, she said. That's just for my records, I replied. You'll get the paperwork, too. She squared her shoulders. Step past this rope, and we're calling the sheriff. Only then did I spot the rope, strung between 2 garden stakes. But the kicker? It was tied to my old canoe. I plucked it like a guitar string. You tied your boundary to my boat. Taven, still across the street, raised his cup again. Want me to film? He mouthed. Not yet. I shook my head. I picked up my kayak, stepped over the rope, and walked down my path. Mara reached out like she might stop me, then thought better of it. Behind me, a committee whispered, should we call? Not yet. I launched my kayak and paddled like my sanity depended on it. I wasn't even mad, not really. I'd known this day would come. You can feel it in neighborhoods. Some folks can't sleep until they move a line. I'd done my homework. Title officer traced every inch of that deed. Permissive use, revocable at any time. Her words, not mine. Keats, the old owner, told me. My wife let folks pass because the HOA beach floods. She never made it official, didn't want the headache. There was never any easement. You know what I mean? Kindness isn't a contract. The lake didn't care about any of this. Sun, water, sky, they welcomed me like always. When I came back, the orange cone was gone, but the sign was still zip-tied to my post. A cheery flyer on my door: lake access policy, new fees, reminders to report violators. I took photos. Then I did what anyone raised by stubborn people does. I got organized. Printed the plat map, county GIS with my lot highlighted, photo of the metal stake, all of it in a manila folder. Emailed the board. Immediate correction required. Unauthorized use of private property. Attached everything. Kept it as formal as the lunch menu at a fancy hotel, and revoked permission in one line. Effective immediately, I revoke any previously granted permission for association members to cross my property for lake access. Gave them 36 hours to move their stuff. 15 minutes later, Corby replied, "We will take this under advisement." Then a property committee email. "Please file an appeal." Their map was a crayon green cartoon, labeling my entire lot common. I replied, "If you have a survey, show it. Until then, stay off my land." Then I called Neryl, the land surveyor with the voice of a gravel road. "Go loud," I told her. "Flags like a parade." She laughed. "Copy that." She'd set my stakes before. "Want me to brush the line?" "Yes, please." Then I called Kara, my attorney. Always practical, never rattled. "What did they take?" she asked. "Access." "Good. Document everything. Put up a gate, camera, sign, revoke permission in writing." I didn't want to be the person with locks, but I hated theft more. That afternoon, Taven showed up with a six-pack of sparkling water. "Game on," he said. "You'll be the librarian of the neighborhood. Shush them with statutes." We laughed about bees. He'd just beaten the HOA on a silly beekeeping ban. Next morning, Neryl arrived with more flags than the Olympics. She staked every corner, strung blue and white streamers along my boundary. "Consider it unmissable," she grinned. The HOA crew arrived, stopped short at the carnival colors. Mara re-announced, "This isn't accurate. Our map is different." "Then your map is wrong," Neryl deadpanned, stepping from the willow, showing her surveyor's license. "If you have a survey, let's see it. Until then, you're a guest." Mara's face pinched. She doubled down. "We'll involve legal counsel." "Great, I'll CC them." I smiled, holding out certified letters. "Also, please remove your sign." "No one's touching that sign," Corby huffed. Neryl snipped it off and handed it to me. Trophy. By lunch, I put up a temporary gate, private property. License revoked as of date. Laminated map, just in case. Set up cameras, motion alerts. One pointed at the path, one at the patio, just in case anyone felt bold. And sure enough, mid-afternoon, the blue polos returned, clustered at my new gate, arguing about mud, maps, and me. One tried to skirt around, sank to his ankles in muck, limped back out. "That's why people use the path," I called. Mara shot back. "You're making a scene." "No, I'm making a fence," I replied. "Boundaries are quiet." Only Sloane, the watermelon lady, touched the gate gently. "Sorry, they should have asked." "They did, 3 years ago." I said yes, now I say no. "People forget people are people," she said. "Not lines on a spreadsheet." That stuck with me. That night, I finished the paperwork, sent certified letters, evidence, everything. The olive branch. If the HOA wanted a limited license, they could pay for it, carry insurance, follow my rules, or use their own beach. Within an hour, the neighborhood group chat exploded. People furious, some supportive, most confused. "We pay dues. We own the lake," one wrote. Taven replied, "No, you own the lake bed out to a point, not someone else's deed. Law is not vibes." Mara posted, "We're working with council to address misunderstandings about lines on a map." I posted only the county cap photo, said, "Out of respect, no further argument. Please don't cross my fence." I thought that would end it. It didn't. Saturday morning, the HOA held their big kayaks and coffee event. My camera caught 4 blue polos at my gate, bolt cutters, toolbox, determined faces. They cut my lock, rolled their tables through. I stepped out. "Please don't do that." Corby said, "We're authorized." Mara said, "We have an event." I called the sheriff. Deputy Haynes, mustache like a movie star, arrived, heard both sides, looked at the documents, my lock, their cartoon map. "You don't have a recorded easement. You don't have the right," he told them. "You want to press charges?" he asked me. I just wanted them gone. "Please document and get them off my land." Haynes stood there until they left. You need a better lock, he said. Ordered one already. I replied. Kara's next email. Want to file for an injunction Monday? Yes, I typed. That night, a flyer on my door. Lake access crisis. Do not be bullied out of your rights. I posted the cut lock and the sheriff's card. Sloan messaged. If you need help clearing the real beach, I'll bring clippers. That's the thing about groups. The loudest act like the majority, but most people just want to paddle, eat lunch, go home. Kara filed for a restraining order. The judge granted it. The next HOA meeting, Mara stood at the front, PowerPoint blazing, protecting our access. Bullet points like accusations. Owner blocks community, rules flouted. Breck, the barbecue king, stood up. Do we have a recorded easement? Mara dodged. Our documents support our use. I stood, told the truth. There was never an easement, just permission, now revoked. We pay dues, someone grumbled. Dues don't buy my deed. I answered. Ephraim, part mustache, part wisdom, asked, can't we just pay for an easement? I said, not an easement, but a license, rules, insurance, real respect. Sloan raised her hand. I'll help clean the real beach. I brought watermelon. For a moment, things felt possible. Corby barked. If we give in, everything falls apart. I explained. That's a utility easement, different situation. Stop scaring people. We finished with a motion for a subcommittee, as always. But next morning, another letter, this time threatening fines. This is our land. Your land is the HOA's land. I laughed, sent it to Kara, filed under exhibits. Saturday, we cleared the actual HOA beach. Rocks moved, brush cut, lemonade all around. Home again, my lock intact, but another sign. Community access beyond this point. I snipped it off, emailed final warning. HOA's attorney replied, accused me of harassment, demanded the gate down. Kara said, bluff. We respond with facts. We sent video, the sheriff's report, survey, everything. At the hearing, their attorney waved cartoon maps, invoked hardship. Kara, cool, sharp, laid out deed chains, the sheriff's incident, all of it. The judge leaned forward. Do you have a recorded right? No. Preliminary injunction granted. Stay off the property. You know that feeling? Relief like a held breath finally let go. Twist came fast. Next day, a crew hired by Mara chewed through cattails, trying to cut a new path. I called the county. Environmental office posted a stop work order. HOA had to read the court order at the next meeting. Daily fines threatened. The board finally voted to comply. Correction email. The path is not an HOA facility. No easement exists. Use the HOA beach. $2,750 for damages and a slice of legal fees. Public apology. At the annual meeting, Mara and Corby lost. Sloan, Breck, and Ephraim won, promising no more signs without permission. Beach maintained. Rules based on kindness and law, not power. I replaced my gate with a cedar one that clicks closed, framed the judgment, and the cut lock. The old sign hangs in my garage, under a sharpened note. Kindness is a license, not an easement. A kid once asked, can I go that way? I said, that's the right way. At our next meeting, Sloan's slide read, kindness is not a contract. Afterward, Mara came over, voice small. I shouldn't have said that line. I smiled. Thank you for saying that. The world didn't end. Summer rolled on. Kayaks dried in the sun. The law, for once, felt like a hinge, not a hammer. So what do you think, friends? Where's the line between being neighborly and being taken advantage of? Does kindness end when permission ends? Would you have fought or let it slide? Let's hear your thoughts below. If you've ever tangled with an HOA, a nosy neighbor, or even just drawn a boundary for yourself, share your story. Justice, community, and a little bit of grit. That's how we build better neighborhoods. See you next time.